Hey everyone, this is Bruce from Kraken Gypsies, and today we'll be doing the weekly adventures. As you can see, we have Kayn selected. Our Kayn is 3 stars, he is level 30. We'll be going up against the Starlight Portal first, which is going up against Kaisa. It's recommended for 1.5 stars, and the rewards are the Bronze Reliquary, 1000 Legend Points, and Champion XP. Well, the special rules are pretty interesting. So it's only the strong. On the round end, it kills all units except each player's strongest. So my idea was to use Kayn, and since Kayn scales, it goes pretty well. On top of that, I have the Grand General's counter plan, which will let us use Shadow Step, and I also have Corrupted Star Fragment. So basically, I'll be doing what that power does every time we attack, if I decide to attack with 2 or more allies. That way, I'll be making the most out of them and utilizing their stats and keywords to my fullest. As long as we have Kayn on the field, of course. Alright, so, without further ado, let's begin. Let's jump into it. Alright, so, first off, we're going to go for one of the powers here. We will be going for... probably Grit, because Kayn does have more health. There is no real point on us going for Lion Weight here, and the reason for it is because Kayn only has, 1, 2, 3, 3 or less cost units here, so it'd have to be based on a support champion. On top of this, the map's special power isn't great for scaling with multiple units, so we're just going to have to scale up one unit really, really well. That's why I think Grit's the best choice here between the 3. And we're going to continue. We have to go up against the Hextech Observatory. It has its normal power where it summons a Hextech Observatory, its namesake. So the first spell they use, they get mana back, basically equal to its cost, which is pretty cool. And I guess landmarks might be another way of cheesing this. So maybe Talia wouldn't be that bad, but I don't have her, so I wouldn't be able to try the test for you guys. We are going for a late stream here, and we'll see how we do. Of course, this is streamed live if you are watching on YouTube. Anyways, we're going to drop down the Saga Seeker here. As you can see, he does have tough, so we're good to go. They decide not to attack here, which is great for us. And it's already turn 2. We're going to drop down the White Flame. Okay, and now we're going to look to attack with both. We're going to use the White Flame to challenge the Forge Chief. And you could already see Grit doing work. Obviously, we are going to lose our Saga Seeker since this is the Starlight Portal. Alright, and now on this turn, what we're going to do... Alright, they use Jolt, which just gets rid of the Spell Shield and deals 1 to my Nexus. That's okay. We're going to drop down our Darkened Lodestone on it, too, to make the most of its Faded. And essentially, we already have a unit that's pretty scaled up. Next turn is Kayn, but we might not need to drop Kayn down, actually. So to win, we could decide to drop Kayn down, actually, on this turn. But we could just go for a Noxian Defector instead, and this will give us 18 damage to just, end. Well, the nab doesn't really matter, but it has it because we are level 30 on Kayn. We're just going for completion here. We're not trying to make the most out of champions that are lower level. But I would highly suggest using a champion that will let you scale, like a specific unit up to as high as you need it to be, and that's why I went with Kayn. Out of these 3 options, I don't think any of these are particularly great. Anything I choose here, I'd want to cut. They Who Endure might be okay here on this map specifically, but yeah. Alright, so out of the support champions, basically all I want is to be able to buff my cards. So Bard here actually looks nice for us. Alternatively, I could try to reroll and go for like Tark or Soraka, but obviously I can't really use support that well. So I think Bard's probably my best bet. So out of these 2 options, we have to go through the Adeptron 3000 healing node, or the spells chest. I think the spells chest would actually be better, but dealing with Ren Shadowblade is difficult because we don't have elusives, and we don't have that many ways of dealing with elusives. So we're going to go up against Jay. He's a more fun encounter. He has this normal power, which is Gear Up, and you get either like the Sunporks map, which gives elusive, Suit Up, which increases our stats to 4/4, and Rising Spell Force, which gives +4 power and quick attack. Okay, so this is the worst hand I've ever seen. We're going to replace all of those. Yeah, I don't want any part of that. And we didn't get Kayn, but I think we'll be okay. Alright, we're going to drop down our Saga Seeker first, and we're going to drop the Sunporks map on him. That's going to trigger his Faded, which is cool, and we're going to commit to this attack for a nice 3 damage. We end the round there. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll do my best to answer them.
I got the goods.
Okay, so they drop down the Chempunk Pickpocket. Well, we do have Tough, so I guess we're okay still. And there's no point in us using the Sunporks map, so I'm just gonna pass. Okay. Well, now there is actually a point to me using this. So by me buffing him, thanks to Faded, despite it being the same thing, we'll come out on top, and the Saga Seeker will heal to full health, because we have a 3-star Kayn. So this just helps us scale our Saga Seeker even more. Unfortunately, I didn't get Kayn just yet, so that sucks. But it is what it is, I suppose. And here we're going to drop Rising Spell Force on it. Currently it's still not equipped, but actually, I think before I go for this, I'm going to equip it real quick with the Darken Aegis. Alright, they do have elusive, so this might suck, might not suck, we'll see. Before we commit to anything else, we are going to use Furious Wielder to take out their Pickpocket, and this is going to stop them from blocking us, and I'll give him even more stats. Unfortunately, we don't have any other way of increasing his stats further currently on this turn, but they're left with 1 health. Alright, so they're trying to swap the stats. We do have Spell Shield, so we're okay. And we're going to drop down Bard here. He's going to immediately be leveled up, thankfully, due to the buff increases that we get from Kayn and Kayn's starting deck, more or less. Although it is kind of silly for us to drop down Bard, we're also going to drop down another Bard. I guess it's Bird. I don't know how you want to pronounce it. Well, anyways. So at this point, we are going to use Suit Up just to give him Faded, and we're just going to end here. Okay, well, that actually stopped us from ending, which is okay. We don't have Overwhelm, but it just increases our stats. All he's doing is stalling, more or less. And we could drop down another one, just to get some chimes going. And we'll end the round there. We'll let our Bird, wherever you want to, however you want to pronounce it. We'll let it get destroyed. That's okay. Alright, they do have 1 health left in a Dream, so I'm not too concerned. We could drop down the Ranger Knight Defector here just to give us another unit to block with. Okay. And I'll drop down Starlight Stomper too. As long as we're able to block, we're okay. Well, that was neat how they did that, I suppose. We will be taking 2 damage here, and that's okay. Alright, and we're going to pass. Although we could have used Sunporks map to make them Faded, and we still would have had 3 spell mana to end with. Alright, so they didn't get the Sunporks map this time. They can't make their unit elusive. This is a free win. It doesn't matter if they use Rising Spell Force or not, because it's still not elusive. And there we go. Okay. Jay has been defeated. Dun dun dun. Alright, well, since we are level 30, we don't actually need the health. So we're not going to go for the healing node after this. What I do want to go for is the Darkened Harpoon here. And the reason for it is because its attack power, it also gives Fearsome and Scout. So it's a pretty nice weapon right there. We're going to go for the Adaptron 3000, as you can see. And there's a couple neat things here. I don't know what I want out of this, to be honest with you. But, yeah. Well, whenever we are able to get Kayn on the board, I can think about like what I can use for that. So maybe I do want like a wind-up shredder. No, he already has Challenger though. Or an evolution turret, but we have the Saga Seeker. Yeah, I guess it's just not worth it, in my opinion. Since we are going to lean more so on Kayn, we're going to go up against the Amateur Aeronaut in hopes to get that champion item chest. The Amateur Aeronaut has its normal power, just like you'd experience whenever going up against Ezreal. And we're back to full health because we are at level 30 with Kayn. Alright. So between the two, I'll drop down the Starlight Stomper first. Alright, and we're going to attack with it immediately for 4 damage. I was hoping that they would block so I can get more stats on it, but that's okay actually, that kind of helps me. Bless you. Hey! Enough's enough over there.
No, what?
Bubbles is back there sneezing. Oh.
I'll get you.
Yep, you hear that? That's okay. Well, we're going to drop down the Darkened Lodestone on our Starlight Stomper here. And it's going to grow to be a 6/5 unit, so they can't really attack with Eager Apprentice. And the other nice thing about going up against the Amateur Aeronaut is that we kind of control the board more so than anything else thanks to experimental design. It kind of works for us in a great amount of ways, basically. Since there's, like, most of their units are going to be 2 cost or so. So it's either going to be stunned or get elusive. But if they spam units down, which they like to do, as an AI, they just get punished for it. So, we're just going to attack and end the round there. Alternatively, we could have dropped Momentous Choice on it since it is equipped. But I don't think it's that important to do. Alright, we aren't going to drop down Kayn just in case something happens. But what we can do is we can drop down our Ranger Knight Defector here. Okay. And we'll pass. They are going to lose a lot of units here. I don't know why they're just throwing all their cards away from their hand, basically. So they're going for their all-out attack, more or less. This isn't going to work for them. Although I could control, like, who I get back, I guess. I think it's okay like this. So I'm going to lose my Starlight Stomper here. I think that's okay. Since it's my attack turn, I can actually decide how to do things. As long as they drop down another unit, I'm okay to do this. Alternatively, I could use his Corrupted Star Fragment. But it might be too early for that. We'll see. Alright, they do drop down the Kampong Shredder. Doesn't really mean anything, to be honest. But that's okay. Well, before we attack like this, we might as well utilize Scout here. And go for that free Scout attack. They decided not to block. Damn. Oh well. And here, we are going to challenge. Just like this. So, in case they do block here, we'll be okay.
I will not yield.
We got Kayn to level up, and the Corrupted Star Fragment works before he attacks, which I didn't know. It's my first time playing around with the item. And we're going to drop Kayn back down, this time as Ross, just heal back a bit. Not like it matters, to be honest. Unfortunately, we do lose all the stats that we got from Corrupted Star Fragment, as I've noticed. I think that's okay, though. We're going to wait on using anything else first on him. Alright, since they dropped down a unit, we're able to utilize the Grand General's counter plan. We have Kayn Shadow Step here, and we'll win thanks to his Ross Overwhelm, which is why we went for Rost instead of Shadow Assassin. And we're back to full health too. Let me know how your experiences have been for this weekly adventure. I'm sure it could be a mixed bag because of the hours that they have on these maps. Okay, so we could go for the Weapon Master here, or we can go for the Blooming Cultist. I think Kayn has some weird interaction with Cultist cards, so we'll go for the Blooming Cultist. We have the Champion Item Chest, or the shop. I already said I'd go for the Champion Item Chest. And we are going to go for probably Barrier on Kayn, but I want to reroll just in case. We'll go for Ancient Coin. Yeah, having a 4-cost Kayn's better overall. And we're going to look to cut a card here for once. And we're going to get rid of They Who Endure. I don't really use that card that often. And we're going to go up against Ashe here. It's going to be a pain because she does Frostbite the strongest unit on round start. So, we'll see how this goes. We don't have Scout. I mean, oh, okay, we do have Scout, but like, yeah, I don't know. We have to worry about a bit before we can get to there. So I don't want to play this card whenever we drop Kayn down immediately, basically. Instead, I want to wait until Kayn levels up first, as I've learned from the last match. And here we can drop down the Starlight Stomper. It is their attack turn after all. We'll just trade units here. This is okay. And that takes us to the next round. Unless I draw something different, I'm going to go for the Saga Seeker here.
I will die when I am ready.
Okay. Well, the Marksman doesn't do anything with Bullseye, so thanks to Tough. We're going to drop the Darkened Lodestone on him. That's going to give us enough power to take him out. They decided to block. They don't, so we're doing okay. As you can see, our Saga Seeker was frostbitten. They do drop down Ashe, and it is their attack turn. So I can't look to drop Kayn down here. But I could look to drop down Bard, just for now. And we're going to look to block both of their units, and we're just going to keep Bard here. Bard does have Scout, so it's kind of neat to have on hand for next turn. But I don't think it's going to work the way I think it will. We are going to drop down Kayn.
The child is gone. The killer remains.
We do have Stalker's Blade on him, which helps a little bit. And we are going to attack with both. He's going to get a little bit more health, and we're going to use him to take out Ashe here. We also get Scout, but we're not able to utilize Scout. So Kayn does level up. So we are going to go for Ross, since he will be our only unit to really utilize here. And after the next turn, he's going to be frostbitten for all of eternity, basically. So we're just going to pass. We're going to let their Poro die, unfortunately. Unfortunate for them. Okay, they do drop Ashe back down. That's unfortunate. We'll pick Roust here. We get the Corrupted Scythe, and that takes out Ashe. So they're back to only having the Bull Elnuck. And they decide not to do anything here. So what we can do, at least for now, is to drop down the Blooming Cultist. And that gets some cultist cards going. As you can see, they use Shatter here, but there's no point in me doing anything with that. Whoa. Okay, well, I wasn't expecting that interaction. That actually sucks. Alright, well, we'll drop Kayn back down. Yeah, damn, that actually really slowed me down. We are going to give him the Darkened Harpoon instead of his Scythe. I think that's honestly better at this point, and we're going to use Momentous Choice on him. Alright, there we go. And we are going to attack. We do have Scout here, so we can attack twice. Thanks to Grit, we do get more damage out of this too. And we are going to do the same thing all over again. Alright, awesome. Alright, and we're going to pass. Kayn's going to be frostbitten, sadly. We pulled a couple times here too. And Grand General's counter plan.
We fight for one Freljord.
We don't have Momentous Choice here. So we can't buff Kayn any further than we already did without using equipment. We're just going to pass and let them hit into us. I think that's just, frankly, the best option for us. If we play it down a card, we can't buff Kayn without utilizing other things. So I'm just going to have to eat the damage here. Thankfully, it is a mini-boss, so we are able to heal up after we win. And it's just a matter of winning. Alright, so here, we'll drop down Bard. Bard's immediately going to level up. And we could also drop down the Blooming Cultist, although I don't think it really matters. We're just going to attack with these two real quick. This is still a scout, technically. They're both scouts. Kayn's going to get all of his attack back thanks to Grit. And I have enough damage to end here. They decided not to block since I think Kayn was frostbitten. And that the AI didn't really recognize my powers I had. I think that's a pretty unique way of doing things, to be honest. Alright, we're going to go for more cost reduction on Kayn. So now he's a 3 cost unit. And we have a power to pick from. We only have Kayn Shadow Step to trigger Slow But Steady, and I don't know how it really works. I think it'd just be wasted. Memory Game's okay, actually, in my opinion. And In My Sights is useless because we're mostly utilizing Kayn. So I decided to reroll the powers here. Explosive Entrance isn't as useful. Reunited, not as useful. We're going to go for Manaflow, and this will let us drop down Kayn turn 1. We have the choice between the Intrepid Marina or the Battlesmith. We are going to go for the Battlesmith here and hope to get a item for one of our cards. Since we are at a certain legend level, we are able to pull, Kayn upgrades from that too. So I think that's worth it within itself. We're going to keep our hand. I think this is okay for us. Battlesmith has the finest Damascene Steel as a power. This is his normal power, I believe. They basically just get Caulfield's Warhammer on any elite unit. We're going to drop down Kayn immediately. And that's going to take out their Duron Sculptor. And we're just going to end there. This feels a lot more fast-paced now that I did this. And I made Kayn even cheaper. So we leveled up Kayn, and the enemy can still play a card. They have 3 mana left. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. Alright, so we're going to drop down our Fleeting Kayn. And we're going to pick Rost here.
Yes,
And we take out their unit. Aside from having Starlight Stomper, we don't have any other way of really giving us Overwhelm. And I wonder if I could actually do this. No. Since it's challenging an enemy, it's not going to work correctly. We're just going to end the round there. Alright. Ooh. Well, we don't have Momentous Choice, so I can't make that work, unfortunately. But I could try to use Cosmic Blessing to maybe pull something off here. Yeah, it's not going to be enough. We're going to skip the block here. We're going to eat the 8 damage. That's okay, I think. And we're going to pass. Alright, so here, we're now going to utilize Kayn Shadow Step, which will give him Quick Attack. And that should be enough to get things over with. But we'll see. I mean, that unit does up top. Yeah, okay, we're okay. We do have Grit, so we're doing alright. And now for this attack, we do have a Bard that has Scout, and we have Tough and Faded. We'll go for a Bard drop here. This is immediately going to level up Bard. And here we're going to attack with both. And we are going to utilize the Corrupted Star Fragment to take out Bard. And we're going to commit to this attack. Now our Rost will have Scout, of course, paired with Overwhelm and Challenger with Quick Attack. So he's forced to be reckoned with for sure. He does lose Quick Attack because we don't have Kayn Shadow Step active currently. We will be using that this round though, if things persist. And this will end the match. Thanks to Overwhelm, this counts as a free attack rather than just a strike. And this counts as a scout too, which I think gives us rally. Yeah, it would. So there we go. Thanks to us getting Scout on one of our units. I mean, we could have used the Ranger Knight Defector too, which has Scout and gives Scout whenever it's equipped, instead of using Bard. And I think we'd get more keywords, more stats from it too. But hey, I chose to use Bard for that, and that's okay, I think. We could go for Leona, but I think she just costs too much and she doesn't offer us anything. We don't have any Daybreak units aside from her if we picked her. We could go for Targon's Brace, but that's not going to help us any. I think the Daring Furrows are actually our best bet. It would give a bit more stats, but more so than that, it will give Kayn Elusive. And we can go for the Ranger Knight Defector here with Serrated Dirk. That's going to give Kayn Fearsome if we are able to utilize our Corrupted Star Fragment. So between these, we can go for Esmus. Or, yeah, I think Esmus would probably be our best bet, or the Flight. We can definitely go for Fixer Upper at this point, since we will only have one unit. It's just going to be Kayn buffs. Alright, and we're going to go into the Zephyr Sage here. They have their typical card, Memories Multiplied. This is going to be okay for us. Alright, so we still have 3 mana because we do have Manaflow. So we're going to keep this hand. This is really good for us. They do start with the attack token, so they'll be playing a card first.
My friend and I are toll collectors.
So we drop down Kayn here. He strikes one of the Highwaymen. And we attack using Kayn. And unfortunately, with the way that they attacked, we're not able to get 2 Nexus health from this. And I guess we wouldn't either way because we don't have rosters yet. It does feel nice to play Kayn turn 1 though, that's for sure. Alright, so yeah, on this we're gonna heal back our Nexus health. We're okay. And so it begins. Alright, we could drop down the Darkened Ballista, but there's no point in doing that, currently. Okay, so they don't have any other units to play. There's no point on me using Kayn Shadow Step. However, I could drop down the Wounded White Flame. And the reason for that is so I can get all those beautiful keywords for Kayn. And I'm going to use Momentous Choice for him too. And that's going to give him some more items. I got Targon's Brace, which is kind of ironic. I think it still actually worked. Believe it or not. I mean, I could be wrong, but it looked that way. I suppose I could have saved Momentous Choice for that too. But I decided to play it like that. It's my first time using Corrupted Star Fragment, so it's kind of neat to see how it works and interacts. Alright, we are going to utilize our General's Counter Plan to take out the Jeweled Protector. And as you can see, we pretty much put relics together, specifically for this Starlight adventure. And so far, I'm liking it. This is pretty cool. As you can see, we just beat the Zephyr Sage. So Grand General's Counterplane, I'd say, is pretty nice. And the Corrupted Star Fragment also helps too. Alright, we could go for Essence Reaver. We don't really use Furious Wielder anymore since we do have Kayn Shadow Step coming to us every turn. So I think that's okay. We might actually cut Furious Wielder at the next healing node. Out of these cards, nothing comes to mind of something I desperately need in our deck. And Craftsman's Favor is just kind of a waste, so we're going to reroll. Fortunately, we got it again, so we're going to leave instead. As I foreshadowed, we're going to cut a card here. And we are going to cut Furious Wielder this time around. It just doesn't help us as much as it would in normal encounters. So we're going up against Kai'Sa this time around. She does have Rapid Evolution, so they get 1/1 for each of their keywords. Fortunately, I don't get that, but it is what it is. That only affects Kai'Sa, though. I think we'll be okay, but we just have to be mindful of Kai'Sa and her damage. And we did get rid of Furious Wielder, so it might be harder than not. We are going to replace Bard here, and we're going to replace a Ranger Knight Defector. Hopefully we can draw Kayn early, and just have him on the board immediately. Yep. Alright, we're good to go. This is already won, basically. I mean, it's how it feels anyways. I think this is like the perfect relic setup. And I got some really nice rewards from our encounters too. So we immediately drop down Kayn. He takes out one of their units. We're already halfway to leveling him up. And since it is our attack turn, we're going to drop down the Ranger Knight Defector. And look at all those beautiful keywords. That's right, we're going to be able to utilize all of these. But I think the bigger issue might be that Rost might not maintain all those keywords. So, again, it might come back to just waiting until the next attack turn after this one. And waiting until he's Rost first before we do anything like that. Because we're actually losing a lot of our scaling doing this like that. We're going to end around there. We're just going to get rid of our Fleeting Kayn. I think that's okay here. And we're going to play him back down. We're going to continue our trend with picking Rost here. We got the Corrupted Scythe going on. We take out the Ruthless Raider. And they did play another card, which is alright for us. We are going to use Kayn Shadow Step here to take out their wolf. Unfortunately, since we don't have Scout this time around on Rost, using Kayn Shadow Step currently does not give us a free attack. And we are going to drop down Bard here. Or Bird, I don't know. Still don't know how to pronounce it, but that's okay. We mostly just did that for chimes to be able to have a stronger unit. Yeah, okay, so we unfortunately got all the chimes on our fleeting Frost, which doesn't help. I guess that's alright. We'll drop down the Daring Quarrow here, and that is going to give us Elusive. And we can also give him the Darkened Lodestone, and I think this might work. I think this might work correctly, but we'll see. We're going to use Momentous Choice here too. We're going to buff up Kayn. That also gave a bit of a buff to our Daring Quarrow too. We're going to use Ross to challenge Kai'Sa. Hopefully... Yeah, okay, we did get quick attack from that. That's good. That was kind of what I expected. And as you can see, we have a huge Kayn, and there's nothing that they can do about this anymore. If they drop down a unit, we win. If they don't, we win. Thanks to Grand General's counter plan. So it's not looking too good for them. Okay, that was kind of sneaky, but at the same time, this still brings us to the same conclusion. Thankfully, our Kayn didn't have Spell Shield, so their Hive Herald doesn't get Spell Shield. We'll be able to stop that. And there we go, we won. We took out Kai'Sa, and that was the first weekly adventure out of the way. As you can see, I think that those relic choices were probably the best I could have had.